All right, well, welcome to our Saturday morning A-Team call. Hey, this is the third in a row, and we're going to keep on going. I know last few weeks we had Lana Batashev teaching on about Facebook. We had a lot of great things come of that. To start off the A-Team call, the A stands for accountability. If you're on here, you're accountable, at least to being on the call, right? The A-Team motto is you have the ability to achieve greatness by always doing something positive and by being accountable for all of your actions. And guys, I just want to let you know, I mean, for some of you that are new, I used to do this all the time for about 10 years. In fact, I know Jamil was on a lot of those. It was great. I mean, we built up from basically, I think when I first started doing A-Team calls, I think we had, 20, 30 maybe sign on. And when we got to the end of that era of doing A-Team calls, because a lot of people started doing their own calls, a lot of the leaders, I think we ended up at one point having almost 1,000 people on. So what I'm doing now is just working with those outside of my few big teams, which Jamil is one of those. And what I'm going to do is have on from time to time top leaders kind of giving their story, and more importantly, the meat, of like what to do next and a call to action. So I talked to Jamil yesterday about getting on. He was gracious enough to get on. And also I'm going to have some of the up and coming people that are doing the business and working it, and some great stories. And that's why I invited Jillian on. I heard her story yesterday, and I was like, well, okay, you got to be on the A-Team call. So anyway, oh, great, because it looks like calling from Alaska at 6 o'clock in the morning. Great. Is it 6? Okay. Anyway, great to have you guys on. Let's see here. I wanted to say one thing before I have Jillian on, and that is I just got done working out, and I'm committed to, and I have a goal in mind to get my health to the next level. I started out at 20%. And then, I know I'm going to get down to, I'm looking to get down to 12%. So I'm committed, and that's why I'm posting. That's why I'm working on it. That's why I'm telling people about it, because when you're committed, you let people know flat out. If you're not committed, if you're really committed, you let people know, and you work with others to help you get there. Got a personal trainer, and he's now excited about becoming a coach. Who would have thought, right? And then I'm just like, okay. And also, I just want to let you know, I'm reading a book called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. I know Jamil's read that one. So some of you have too. But I've listened to that like 6 times, and I'm working with some of the coaches off of that, and that are helping me out. And I'm now in my zone of genius. I'm in chapter 8, and it's wonderful. So make sure you have the personal development going on as well as your health and building your business. So with that, I want to go ahead and invite Jillian on. Jillian, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. And we were talking yesterday, and Jillian was kind of going over her story, and I wanted to spend just a few minutes on her story and what she's done. Jillian just reached fully integrated business coach. Actually this month. When I asked her, I was like, so you reached it last month for the trip? She goes, nope. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. And she started talking about like how she doesn't really care. She's just gonna go forward. And I love that. Now, obviously, I mean, she would love to be on the trip, but I know a lot of you didn't make it either. There's some of you that did, but it doesn't matter. It's like, I mean, think about this. I always tell people this. If you don't make it and you try for it and you go for it, and you don't make it, well, let's say you're making an extra couple thousand a month because you tried for it. Why not just go anyway, right? So Jillian, tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, actually, Brian, it's funny that you say that, because you are what I had in mind when I kind of came to the reality that the trip wasn't going to happen for me. It's exciting because I have 3 team members that qualified. So I'm super excited for them to be able to go. But I've heard you say that so many times, and it's resonated with me that, even if you don't make the trip, you could make enough money to go on that trip if you wanted, if you grow your business and get there. So So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I cannot promise you that I'm not going to cry because I've had to share my story like 3 times in the last 2 days. So I'll try hard. So I'm Jillian. I'm from Oregon. Mary George is my global. And fun fact, Jamil and I started the business probably almost the exact same time. I'll be a coach for 8 years in March of this year. So really close. We started at the same time. And I'm just now FIBIC, and Jamil is Integrated Presidential Director. And there is no shame in that for me. I love that. I love that my story will hopefully inspire some of you, because it's been a long, rocky road. I remember being at an event with Jamil. It was a Go Global event. And I remember him coming up to me. We were at a restaurant sitting at a table, and he was coming up to me, and I was on fire at the time. It was a really awesome time in my business. And he was asking me questions. Like he was interested in what I was doing to grow my business. And it's just insane to see what can happen over the course of two people's journeys, in how they have lived those, like what has happened. And I will say that I have built this business. I've built to executive director and even regional director so many times that I could be an integrated presidential director right now. The difference is that I let life happen to the point where I didn't run through those obstacles. And life happens. Life gets hard for everybody. And so the main thing that I really wanted to share with everybody today is that in October, in probably actually September, I realized that with the volume that I started out with at the beginning of the qualification period, June, July, and August, that there probably was not going to be a possible way for me to make the trip. I had other things that were qualifying me, but my volume was where I was lacking. And I was really working hard to help my team members. And I just decided there's some really, really tough stuff that happened this year. And I decided that, you know what, there is not going to be a time when my conditions are perfect. Like, it's been almost 8 years. When am I going to realize that? When am I going to realize that everybody has to move through their own obstacles? And just because my situation and my journey might be different than other people's, we all have something. And I have, instead of letting those things control me, I got close to my mentorship. I really started working with my mentorship, and I guess letting go of the control that I had to do this on my own. And I decided, you know what, this is what we hear. This is what I coach on and I teach is working with your mentorship and getting close to them. And if I don't go to my mentorship with my goals and not have my mentorship tell me what I think that they should tell me, like, what should I do? Come to my mentorship with what should I do? I decided, okay, I'm not going to make the trip, but I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to do whatever I can to build through this season. And so I went to Mary and I said, you know what, I'm not worrying about the trip anymore. I'm going to help as many people as I can go on that trip. And I'm going to work on the fundamentals of my business, because come January, once everybody is qualified and knows who's going on the trip, like, we're still going to be building businesses. We're still going to be growing, and our journey for the year has just started. So I want to start as strong as I can in this new year. And so I went to work. I consistently went to work. And there was a call that Dan Valentine did sometime in September or October on his Momentum boot camp podcast. And I remember listening to it, and he talked about this 6-month period. And I mean, how many times have I heard this, but it was just incredible about him talking about starting conversations and how important that is to stay consistent. And if you are doing the fundamentals every day, by the time 6 months comes around, your business will explode. And that's exactly what's happened to me by staying true and staying consistent and doing the 3x3x3 accelerated, really staying close to my mentorship and reaching out and saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm going for, and her running with me hip to hip. And so it's really important to come to your mentor with your plan and with what you want, so they know, and they know how to help you and assist you along the way, because nobody knows what your goals and your dreams are.
Wow, that is awesome, Jillian. Thank you so much. I mean, I love your passion, and I love your story. I mean, you know, people sometimes look at these obstacles that get in our way, and, you know, some are bigger than others. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you know, you have a death in the family, something happens, you know, just go off track, whatever it is. But all of them are the way. All the obstacles that you have in your life are the way. In fact, I love it when I'm talking to somebody who has issues going on. I'm like, you know, I'm sorry that that's happening, but just think for a minute how you're going to be able to help others get through their stuff. I mean, think about that, and think about that thing that's happening to you is going to help you grow and help you get beyond you are right now, where you're at right now. And so I love that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted Jillian on. You probably can imagine right now, because, you know, she, you know, like she said, she didn't earn the trip, but she helped 3 people get on the trip. How cool is that? You know, and just getting, not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about others, but also thinking about your goals, what it is you want, and not letting other things get in the way. So I love that. So anyway, thank you so much, Jillian. That was awesome. Next, we have Jamil Frazier. Jamil, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hey, man, I can hear you loud and clear. And, man, thank you so much for jumping on. You know, I love you to death, man. and Jamil is an inspiration to many people. And he has a powerful story as well. You know, Jamil did, once he decided to go, he went pretty quick. But it did take time for him to get there to make a decision. You know, everybody has to make a decision. Some people make decisions right away getting in, and then they make a decision and they go. But others take time, and others don't have the skill sets and the, you know, maybe even the people that they know. So they have to develop those relationships over time. But Jamil is integrated presidential director. I love him and his family. They've done so much for Optavia, so much for their team. I see their team growing. And so I want Jamil to come on and just talk a little bit about, first of all, a little bit about your story. Some people, well, I'm sure most people know you, but there are some new people on here. Just really brief, and then kind of get into the meat of it, and then the call to action.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks so much for having me on, Brian. You know, I appreciate you so much for having such a profound impact in my life over these last 8 years. And Jillian, I love you, my friend. We go way back. And I'm so proud of you. I really am. You know, I'm very proud of everyone that's on this line, and I'm extremely honored to be on here. I see a lot of faces that I know. I see some faces that I've known since I was a little boy, like with Clark. And I see some who I don't know. And, you know, I'm just going to encourage the group. I think Brian has given me about 20 minutes. So you know, I encourage you during these next 20 minutes to really be locked in. If your video is off and you have the opportunity to bring it on, then I encourage you to bring it on. I certainly encourage you to get out a pad of paper and a pen and you know, spend these next few minutes really growing and learning and making the best of the time. That's been one of the best things that's ever happened to me is being present on these sorts of calls. So I've been coaching, as Jillian said, for almost 8 years now. It will be 8 years for me come this May, and getting involved with, you know, Take Shape for Life back then, now Optavia. It's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me and my family and to lots of other people since I've been here. I started off looking for health, like so many of us on this call, but back then I was naive enough to think that the health I was looking for was purely physical health, which I received within a matter of 6 weeks, going from being over 200 pounds back down to where I was in high school. I started to learn right away that physical health was paled in comparison to what I needed for my mental health. And as I've started coaching, I really started to learn and probably have fallen in love with becoming, you know, more of a surgical master of my mind. And in the last 8 years, we've been able to impact a lot of people. I've been able to move into inner circles with folks like Brian and Dr. A, and it's been an incredible journey. I woke up this morning at about 5 a.m. and Brian called me yesterday, and I was getting a workout in. And when we spoke, I really didn't know what I was going to say. What do I have to bring value to a group like this? Some people on here that's been here longer than me. Some people are brand new and still trying to figure out what this thing is and if they want to be a part of it. And if this is part of their calling, is this part of their mission? And so I didn't really know what to deliver. And this morning I woke up, I had some quiet time. I came down to my office and I asked for a message that can maybe be delivered that can touch some people. And it was delivered to me right here at this very desk about 2 hours ago. And that message is a mission of mission. You know, I think that it's important for us to understand our history as we become coaches in Optavia. And I think oftentimes we don't really understand what that history is or what that mission is, but you are part of a mission. And I think sometimes when we think about a mission, you know, we could think about it in a lot of ways, but we have such a profound mission. In fact, if your life has been transformed or impacted by any stretch of the imagination, go on and put a 1 in the comment. You know, our mission, starting with Dr. A years ago, has evolved a little bit. And now we talk about what is our mission, and our slogan is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. Listen to that. Lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. I think about lifelong. That is so powerful. The great thing is we actually don't know how long we are going to be living. Some of us are here today, and unfortunately, some around the world will be gone tomorrow. And part of our mission is lifelong. As long as they live and as you live, I am committed to helping you transform. Isn't that a powerful mission? Think about that. Did you know that you're a miracle? I can honestly say that I didn't understand that. I didn't think about that. I wasn't in touch with that. That wasn't an intimate conversation that I had with myself before I started coaching 8 years ago. I don't think that I would have considered myself a miracle. The pure fact that you are here and you're on this line and that you're alive and that you're breathing, you are a miracle. The moment you said yes to coaching, you became a miracle worker. You guys are able to take people that are down and out and that have less than, and for some strange reason, they come into this program, this company, this mission, and then on the back end, they've changed. Just look at Jillian. 8 years ago, I can guarantee you she is not the same person today than she was 8 years ago. Tammy, I don't even know her, but I can guarantee you she is not the same today than she was when she started Optavia. This is part of what you get to do as a miracle worker. You get to assist people to go from where they were at, we call that their current reality, to now finding someone inside of themselves that they didn't even know that they were there. So let's talk about this word mission. So I started thinking about it. I said, okay, well, what is this? What does it mean to have a mission? Generally, we think about it as a task. We could think about it as a fight. We're fighting for something. How many of you guys, celebrated MLK, Martin Luther King Day, just this past Monday? Didn't he have a mission? Wasn't that a fight? Wasn't that a task? Wasn't that an operation? Some of us would say that was a purpose. Some of us will say a mission is a body of people sent to perform a service. So if we're on a mission, let's talk about what it means to be a missionary. Oftentimes when we think about missionary, what do you guys think of? What comes to mind? Put it in the chat. When you think about a missionary, what do you think of? What are some of the things that spring up to you right away when you think about a missionary? See, would I be willing to bet is you don't consider yourself a missionary? Am I lying? I certainly didn't. When I started coaching, I'm just a coach. I just want to help a couple people. If I would have heard that I was a missionary, I would have said, you're crazy. In fact, I started coaching. I quit after 2 weeks. You think someone who's going to quit after 2 weeks will consider themselves a missionary? I couldn't even last for 2 weeks. I acquired 15 clients in 2 weeks and left, quit. And by the grace of God, came back, had an opportunity to go to a national convention in July of 2012. And that's when the miracle happened for me. At that moment, I realized that I was a missionary. See, here's the fallacy is most people will hear this word and they think about some sort of religious calling, or they think about it in a religious context. Am I right? No, 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 no. Do you know missionary is someone who performs a ministry of service? Think about it as I go through these. The ministry is a service of education, of healthcare, of social justice, of economic development. Think about it, education. You can't start to change anything until you start to educate. I can motivate the heck out of you right now. It's like I could come to your house, I could pump you up every day. But if you're not educated, then you'll just be a motivated idiot, right? So everything starts with education. Let me ask you, your program, what is it set as foundational principles on? What has Dr. A spent years developing? Don't we have something called a transformational system? Don't we have great tools to educate our clients and our coaches? So if part of being a missionary is about ministries of service, such as education, don't you have that? Let's talk about healthcare. Isn't that what we're about? Our whole program and movement is about improving the overall health and well-being of our citizens, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And why I love what we do, why I love what you get to do as a missionary, is because it's all about prevention. The challenge out there is it's about reaction. Am I lying? When I started coaching, I was in pharmaceutical sales. One of the reasons why I was so impressed about what we got to do was I got to be on the other side of that. Because during the day, how can I go and distribute and promote and sell pharmaceuticals? And at night, I'm trying to help people be preventative. There was this mix of dissonance there that, quite frankly, didn't feel good. So I had to leave. And I had to dedicate my life as a missionary to our mission as an Optavia coach. You are a missionary. Let's talk about social justice. When we talk about social justice, we talk about justice in terms of distribution of wealth, opportunities, privileges within the society. Believe it or not, and you may not know this yet, but I literally just outlined who you are as a coach. You get to do that too. You walk around with this bag of tools. Any of you guys good with your hands? And you like to fix stuff? You like to work on stuff? And for some reason, this little screw and the screwdriver, oh, that don't fit. Let me go into my bag of tools and pick out something else that actually brings a solution. That's what you are. You get to walk around every single day with massive solutions to people's problems. Massive. And I gotta imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have to imagine that you are on this call today because you actually want to do that. It wouldn't even make sense for me to see you on here, Linda, if you didn't actually want to come bring solutions to people's problems. You'd probably be out golfing or something, right? Debbie, am I right? Let's talk about economic development. It is the growth of the standards of living of nations of people from low economic, poor, to high economics, rich economy. When the local quality of life is improved, there is more economic development. You guys, I am the perfect example of this. When I grew up with Clark's son in Temple City, California, that whole time we were on welfare. There was not one day to where I did not live off of the state. Not one. I've never known my mother to work. And when I started coaching, we were in financial despair. What I can tell you now is we have managed to turn my annual income that was back then when I started coaching to our monthly income. If that is not economic development and allowing people the opportunities to go and change their financial futures, I don't know what is. Guess who has the opportunity to offer that to every single citizen that's out there? So I ask you, are you a missionary? Are you a missionary?
Well,
You know, you guys, whether you know it or not, Brian, if you can mute John's screen for me, that'd be great. Whether you know it or not, you are change agents. In fact, we have a whole group on social media called Agents of Transformation. Have you thought about that? You are agents of transformation. So let me quickly go through 11 characteristics that came to me this morning. This is none of my doing, by the way. I literally sat here and asked for a message, and now it's being delivered. So 11 characteristics, write these things down. Brian, mute John's line again. John, you got to mute your line, bud. 11 characteristics of missionaries. Number 1, they stay in touch with those who sent them and believe in them, and they are coachable. They are fully in touch with their mentors. Number 2, they have a massive heart and love for people. I'm outlining who you guys are, or you wouldn't be on this call. Number 3, man, they know how to tell a good story. They know how to tell a solid story. You guys, your most important thing that you have is your story. You got to learn to tell that story well. This is what sets missionaries apart. Number 4, they're organized. They know who they're calling on. And what that means for you is for you to become organized and for you to start waking up every single day working off of a list. That list is going to be your heart list, those people that are on your heart that you massively want to see do better in their life and their health and their wellness. Everything we just outlined of what a missionary wakes up every single day trying to make a change of. You got to work that list. What about your hundreds list? People off of that list every single day that's going to help you, or that you're going to impact, or that you're going to ask for help, or that you're going to share your story. Missionaries are organized. They know who they're calling on. In fact, they have already planned tomorrow before it starts. They know what their route's going to be. They know what houses they're going to hit up. They know what clergy they're going to be meeting with. They don't just wake up and say, well, I hope today I run into some people. No, that is not their characteristic. Number 5, they are active, not passive, and daily they consciously look for people to impact. Let me say it again. They are active, not passive, and daily consciously look for people to impact. They don't say, well, if someone just comes across my plate today, if someone reaches out to me today and asks, no. They wake up every single day knowing that they got a good story and they're on a mission. There's people out there that need them, and they're actively seeking out these people. So I encourage you every single day when you wake up, you're looking at your list and you're not being passive. Well, let me see what happens. No, you're being active about reaching out and impacting these people. Number 6, they are emotionally intelligent. They know not everything is going to go their way. And so they learn to manage their discouragements and disappointments. Listen, as long as you are alive, crappy things are going to happen. You cannot have life without suffering. You cannot have happiness without frustration. Things are going to come up. I wish that I could say that they weren't. I wish I could say every single day was going to be skipping through rose petals. It's not. And to think that it is, it's literally, it's foolishness. And so what they've learned to do is they learn to grow their emotional intelligence. So when it's discouraging, they don't fall back. They don't quit. They don't murmur. They don't do what I did after 2 weeks because it gets hard. They run away. No, 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 no. They already know things aren't going to go their way. And to think that it is it's ludicrous. Okay, next, they are only looking for people who are looking for them. If someone's not ready for their help, it's no big deal. They walk around every single day knowing that they have solutions to people's problems. And a no is not really a no. It's just a not yet. And it's a no big deal because I'm only looking for people who are looking for me. Next, they are great with follow-up and checking back in. If they leave a region, they're going to go back to that region to check in on it. Okay? If you begin a life, if you plant seeds, then as coaches, as agents of transformation, we're going to go back to water those seeds. So they are great at follow-up. Let me ask you, what's your follow-up like? How many people have you started conversations with or health assessments that are sitting there that just need gentle follow-up? I sat down with a guy named Wayne at Subway in Arcadia, California in September 2012. I only had one piece of paper, which was an income disclosure form. I said, Wayne, this is where I'm going. You can go too. He said, Jamil, it sounds good, but I don't want to be a salesperson. I said, that's up to you. Throughout the years, I've been checking in on him. Literally 35 minutes ago, he sent me a text wanting to have the freedom I have now. Things have changed for him. Now he's about to become a papa for the first time. Life circumstances have changed. Guess who's ready now? Wayne, you got to follow up. Missionaries follow up. Okay, next, they rarely go at their mission alone. Usually they have partners. Let me say that again. They rarely go at their mission alone. Usually they have partners. So I ask you, where are your partners? Where are your coaches? Where's your army of men and women that's going to help you move your mission forward? Do you think Dr. A could even get close to fulfilling his mission without thousands, hundreds of thousands of coaches? Where are your partners? Or are you still trying to only work with clients? To fulfill a big mission, you're going to need a lot more people than you. There's only 24 hours in the day. And Terry, I know you're amazing, but you can only touch so many lives. But if you got a lot of people there that see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel, want to go and impact the lives the way that you want to, now you can make a big dent in society. They rarely go at it alone. They learn to leverage and they accelerate their success. I saw this early on. And I said, it makes no sense for me to try to go impact all these people by myself. Let's start building teams. That's what true missionaries do. Next, they are passionate about growing and becoming more. They literally feel like it's a disease to be the same person tomorrow as they were today. They are passionate about growing and becoming more. If I have not become, if I go into 2021 and I'm the same dude that I've been in 2020, I've just wasted a year of my life. If I go into next week and I'm the same person that I was last week, then I am not fulfilling my calling. I am literally wasting God's greatest gift to me. This is what missionaries do. They are so energetic and happy about becoming more. Staying the same is like it's like the heebie-jeebies. You remember that word back in the day, the heebie-jeebies? It's like the heebie-jeebies to them. Tom, they don't like that feeling. And the last thing about missionaries, you guys, is they never, ever, ever, ever quit until the mission is done. Look at Jillian. This girl could have walked away a long time ago. She could have said, my mentors. She could have said the weather. She could have said, maybe this is just not meant for me. Maybe just not God's calling for my life. Could have said all these things. But a true missionary, they're not going to quit. They're just going to keep pounding on that door. They're going to keep going. So let me explain this to you. Your business is simple. Everyone write that down in your notes. In fact, put it in the chat, put a hashtag next to it. My business is simple. This business is simple. Transferring skills to my coaches is simple. You want to know why? Because there's only really 4 quadrants, 4 areas that you got to get good with. It's not like becoming a rocket scientist. Do you know I would not be successful if I had to become a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or rocket scientist? I'd probably fail every test. The great thing is you don't need to know none of that to be a coach and to be as successful as you want to be. You know what you got to get good with? These 4 things. Acquiring clients. Acquiring clients. Clark, that's all we got to do. We got to learn to acquire clients. Does everyone on this call know how to acquire a client? If you can acquire 1 client, you can acquire 100. Okay? The second thing we got to get good with is supporting those clients. Supporting those clients. The third thing is acquiring coaches. Again, if you can acquire 1 coach, you can acquire 1,000 coaches. I hope you start to realize that. If I can acquire 1 coach, I can acquire 1,000. There's no shortage of clients and coaches that are out there. Unfortunately. This is one of those businesses where we pray that people don't need us. I just don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime. And the last thing is we learn to support those coaches. That's it. We acquire clients, we support clients. We acquire coaches, we support those coaches. That's all you got to do. I think we overcomplicate this business oftentimes. But this doesn't require master's degrees or doctoral degrees. Now, within those 4 things, these are the 3 things that we must constantly get good with. We must wake up every single day as missionaries, agents of transformations to perfect these 3 things. The first thing is your skills. Now, there are a lot of skills in this business. And so we wake up every single day looking for growth. But that's what a missionary does anyway. Remember I told you that? Staying the same was like a disease to them. It gives them the heebie-jeebies. So every single day we say, how can I improve on my skills? How can I get better with our health assessment? How can I get better with listening? How can I get better with asking questions? How can I get better with offering an invitation? How can I get better with awakening? How can I get better with motivating, encouraging? How can I get better with social media? How can I get better with healthy happy hours? How can I get better with inviting? These are all skills. Guess who can get better with any skill that they want to? The person that has desire and actually wants to get better with it. It only takes practice. It don't take having a Brian Drollinger to call you every single day. That's what I can assure you. Any single person can get in the mirror and say, let me practice my story and how to tell that effectively. You just got to want it from inside. But I know that you do, or you wouldn't be on this call. See what I'm saying? Now, the next thing we get better with is our mindset. Some people call this our concepts. Listen, all of you guys have been conditioned to think a certain way. And it probably started when you were like 3 years old. And oftentimes, once we get in this business, you're still operating from a mental mainframe of a 5-year-old. And so every single day, we must be dedicated to growing our mindset. This takes personal responsibility. This takes discipline. It takes engaging in personal development. This is also why I said mentors. The first thing I said is they stay in touch with those who sent them and believe in them and are coachable, AKA they're constantly in touch with their support teams. Why? Because you're not going to see a lot of the crazy, silly things and ways that you're thinking, but your support team will. So every single day we have this insatiable appetite to improve the way that we think. This whole thing is about your thinking habits. And the last thing is your action. Action, 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 action. Even if your skills suck, you can overcompensate for it by getting to more action. Somebody else might be able to do a health assessment, you guys, and when they do one health assessment, they sign up a client and they stop. It might take me 10 health assessments because my skills are sucky to sign up a client. If I want to do better than them, all I got to do is 20 health assessments. Now I got 2 clients, but they stopped at the 1. See what I'm saying? Action. If you want more success, do more work. That's it. You just got to be willing to do the work. That's all I did. I went around and I asked people, how many people are you talking to daily? They said 5. I said, 5 sounds like too little. I'm just going to do 10. If I go share my story with 10 people a day, that's 70 people a week that know my story. That's 140 people in 2 weeks. By golly, by the end of a month, that's 280 people. You multiply that over 3 years, of course. Of course, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. I actually wish that it wasn't. I love that it's not, because we can take what we have and go into any community in the world and teach them how to do those things. Remember, I talked about economic development, social justice, healthcare, education. If it was rocket science, it would be a lot harder to get the world healthy. It's a good thing we have a program that doesn't require you to actually be that bright. Or we wouldn't be able to help all the people that we need to. You see what I'm saying? So your skills, your mindset, AKA concepts, your actions. Here's my encouragement. All of you guys are greater than you can even imagine. I mean, I think about what it takes to make a human being, and it is so freaking hard for you to even be able to be breathing right now. Do you know all of the crazy things that have had to happen for you to be sitting here? I mean, it's truly astonishing. So you are greater than you ever could even realize. In my book, I call this becoming a Neo. Deciding that you are the one. You are, or you wouldn't be on here, especially for some of you guys after all these years. For you new guys, welcome. I hope I didn't scare you off, but you're amazing too. You got to realize that. You're not here by accident or by happenstance. Okay, you're on this training because deep down you truly want more. I know it, or you wouldn't be here. I've done so many of these. Okay, some of you guys may have had a setback. Jillian talked about some of them, but that is not the end of your story. This is literally the beginning. In the next 12 months for you, you could see things radically change so much that it'll stagger your imagination and the people around you's imagination. I'm telling you from experience. Okay, and you truly can do all things, but it ain't going to happen until you get your I can right. That's where you go on the inner work. That's why I said skill set, mindset, action. Here's your call to action. Daily partner with your support team. Let these guys know what it is that you want. If they don't know what you want, they cannot help you. You got to know what you want. You got to tell them every day, and you got to run hip to hip with them. Ask them for help. Okay, daily impact at least 5 people voice to voice or face to face with your good story. You got to work those lists. Those lists and your story is your road to ultra success. Please hear me when I say that. And the great thing is it don't even take that much time. I used to do it and spend the rest of my day walking the beach here in Southern California. While everyone else was complaining about they don't have time, I spent half an hour impacting 5 people off my list and went on about my day. Next, make your job easier by asking for and getting referrals daily. Remember, stop trying to work on a 1-to-1 ratio. It makes no sense. Unfortunately, this is the way we're taught at a young age in our school systems. Okay, now we have to start to learn to leverage. It's how you speed things up a lot quicker. All right, daily focus on improving your skills, your action, and your mind. And the last thing I got, Brian, is just have a lot of fun. This is fun, man, impacting people's lives. Move outside of yourself and your ego and go help some people change.
Wow. That's all I have to say is wow. That's a lot. There's a lot of nuggets in there. I love how you led with mission, and just talked about how this is a mission and being a missionary. I mean, I was talking to somebody last night about mission basically. And we were talking to a group of people, and someone like, well, I don't know if I want to do, use your products or whatever. And I'm just like, it don't matter. You could use our program. You could use the Habits of Health. You could get on the weekly calls. All that stuff is free. I don't even know another company in this world that does what we do and offers it for free. The only thing you're paying for is the fuelings. And those are better than any fuelings you're going to find on the market. So, hey, good luck. I love what you said about mission. And I love I wrote down so much. Now, I'm going to have to get that list from you, though, dude, because I couldn't write fast enough. And I know some of you were writing it down, and I was writing it down, but sometimes I can't even read my own writing, man. So, but I love what you said about everything. I mean, it was amazing. And just bringing it back, honestly, you said something about Martin Luther King. I mean, what a visionary and what a mission he had. I mean, he died for his mission. I mean, think about this. We have a mission to help people get healthy, help them healthy physically, financially, mentally, and we have the goods to deliver. I mean, it's predictable transformation every single time. I have yet to find somebody that came back to me and said, hey, why did you get me into that? Or were upset with me. Now, I have on occasion had people say, well, hey, I tried that and that didn't work for me. My next question is, how much did you lose? And they would say like 20 pounds. I said, what didn't work for you? I mean, we have the goods, guys. We have the goods, and we have a big mission to accomplish. And like you said, Jamil, we're never going to run out of people. We're never going to run out of people. And you definitely hit it when you said, this business is the same for everybody. Acquire support, acquire support, acquire support. It's number game. It always has been. But it's loving everybody along the way, and it's not letting anybody go. I mean, if they're not ready now, they're ready later. And you've done a great job of what you've done in your business to impact thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So amazing. I love it, Jamil. That was definitely one that I'm going to listen to again and again. And I just love everything you said. And Jillian, thank you so much for getting on the call and giving people hope. You know, just look at the contrast here. So we have Jillian that's been in for 8 years and just went FIBC, and we have Jamil that's a fully integrated leader and an integrated presidential director with the business. I don't care how long it takes you. I could care less. You're going to grow along the way. If you stop, though, that's the issue. I have people right now that are getting back in that stopped years ago. They're like, okay, what is it? I want to do this. I want to do this. And people stop and go, whatever it is. It's when you make a decision and just go for it and get plugged into our system that you actually accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. And as long as you're talking to people, like Jamil said, on a daily basis, and think about the numbers of people you could talk to, it's amazing, especially with social media. So I'm so excited about what it is we have. I'm so excited about what it is that Jamil just offered up his time for, and let us know some of his insights. Jamil, you rock, man. And so your book is out, right?
So sort of.
Okay, I don't have it yet. So I know you mentioned it and I'm like, okay, I know he's got a book.
Yeah. So one's coming out the end of next week.
Okay. All right.
And then the second one's coming out in the third week of March.
Okay. Well, I definitely want one, and we're definitely going to definitely promote it, because I love all the things you've said every time I talk to you.
Thank you.
So anyway, well, thank you so much, Jamil, for your time. And thanks, Jillian, for being on. And thanks all of you for being on. This was recorded. And Charlotte will go ahead and, end that recording in a second. But, go out and have a great weekend. Have a great year. Let's do make it a daily thing to talk to somebody, to share, to inspire, to encourage. And if they don't get them on the habits of health. That's a universal thing, guys. Nobody has that, and nobody offers it for free. Now, oh yeah, the books cost. We don't make money on the books, by the way, do we? We only make money when somebody gets healthier, period. That has been the case since I first started 18 years ago. So I love this mission. I love being a missionary for it. I love everything about it, and it's always been impactful on everybody. So thanks, Jamil. Thanks, Jillian. You guys rocked it. And thanks, everybody, for being on the call. Goodbye.